Welcome to Liberate Liverpool. How exciting is this? Can I see a show of hands that haven't been here before, that have not been to any of our meetings? A lot of newcomers. Welcome. Welcome. This is literally only the beginning. We're going to need a bigger venue because it's going to get big. We've been very busy, as you know. We're a committee-led movement, and it's a people's movement. We're not a party, we're a movement. So party is a swear word. We don't use the word party. Now, we are working hard in the background to get as many quality, not just quantity. We do want to win them, but we need quantity candidates to run in each ward. A ward is a community. I didn't know what a ward was about 4 months ago. So I'm not a political animal, I'm just learning as I go along. So can I see a show of hands who's actually running as a candidate in your community? Come on, don't be shy. Okay. Fantastic. And can I see a show of hands who are here tonight thinking, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to have a go at this. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you. Now, what I'd like you to do, we've got some application forms floating around. So we have to go through a process. We have to be fair to every single individual. I'm actually running myself. I didn't think I was going to run, but I've been convinced to run. Thank you. I need all the help I can get because I'm up against Richard Kemp. So I need people to help me. This is going to be a war, and I don't like losing. So everyone's got to muck in, and we'll get a great campaign going, and we'll do our best. We're not going to run a dirty campaign like some people do. We don't need to resort to that. All we need to do is tell the truth, which is the majority of the people of Liverpool, they don't know the truth because the truth isn't being printed. So we are there in the background. We haven't started campaigning, but they won't know what's hit them from next week on. We don't have long, so we've got to fight. Everybody, tell your friends, get on social media, get going with it and get some excitement going. We're going to absolutely pick an anthem shortly because anthems resonate with people, because we're going to be introducing the candidates to this anthem from every ward. We've got dozens of candidates, not just 5, not 6, not 7. They didn't think we could do this, but we've done it. And we keep adding to it, and it's just a really good feeling. Everybody's got positivity in their hearts for the first time for a long time. So keep it going. And I'm going to introduce you to one of our candidates who's a committee fellow member, and I'm going to introduce you to Kev. So will Kev come up?
Thanks, Susie, and everyone. So my name is Kev Morland. I'm a committee member, and I'm going to be running as a councillor. God knows how that happens so quick. I just love this city. I love every part of this city, and you know, when things are going wrong and something needs to change, then who do we wait for to change? We've got to change that. Someone with a magic wand's not going to come in and make it all better for us. So, you know, at the end of the day, the children, their future, it is all that matters to me. I know this city can thrive. The last 10 years, I feel like I've gone back 10 years. 10 years ago, I was in a very similar position. I was always on Facebook moaning about the world around me, moaning about how people were violent and there was anger and racism and things like that. And I thought, all I'm doing now is just moaning on Facebook. I'm not actually doing anything about it. So I thought, right, what can I do? So I thought, okay. My skill was a painter and decorator, so I was going to go around painting and decorating people's rooms for nothing. Kids living in poverty, elderly people. It was just an idea. Didn't mean it to. Didn't think anything would happen from thousands across the city. We built this city up. I exist to see a positive change. And it's happened, and I feel I'm back in that position now 10 years later. At that time, I sort of realised, who am I waiting for to like make my city a better place? No one's going to come in with a magic wand and do it. It's up to me. I'm going to do it. All I can do is do my little bit. And if we all do our little bit, we can create a positive change. We'll do it together. And what I'm really passionate about in this city is that people in this city have got so much potential, so much untapped potential. You know, the kids are just some of the most unique kids on this planet, and it just gets beaten down out of them. And if there's people in power who aren't bringing that out, who are just constantly putting people in despair, the future's going to be bleak. But our job is not just only to help people, it's to get them off the floor, to bring them up, to lift our communities up, to inspire them, to empower them, you know, to actually, like, you know, be the leaders in the world, in the whole world, that, like, bring the communities up. And when we all work together, when we empower each other, when we, you know, when we all take responsibility, when we're accountable, when we're transparent, when we're honest, when we come from the heart, we can absolutely change our city for the better. And I wouldn't be standing here now if I didn't think it was possible. I've seen it with my own eyes over the last 10 years. We've literally, you know, picked people up from a really bad place. It's not just about going around and throwing food at them or giving them clothes. It's about putting your arm around them, listening to them. There's a lot of trauma in this city. We've been beaten into the ground over the years. There's a lot of trauma in the city, and it doesn't get healed. It needs healing. It needs bringing to the surface. People need to be guided, supported, and that's when they can get on a little step to the next journey. And you know, if we're a machine and parts of that machine aren't working, then it's all going to fail, isn't it? And as it happens, there's big parts of the machine in this city that aren't working for the greater good. But we can change that. We can just build this machine up so it's working together. And you know what? We will. We're going to do it. And every single one of you, every single person has got responsibility. Every single one of you. It's not for somebody else. It's not for me to do. It's not for any of the committee. It's for you. At the end of the day, the change only happens when we change, and we can change, but you've all got to play a part. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
That was from the heart, obviously. There's some huge hearts in this room, and I want you to meet another one. So where is Barry? He can't hide because he's absolutely huge. Can you everybody welcome Barry Maguire? Thank you.
I come on board with this. Lauren's got in touch with me. I like that. I love the name, Liberate Liverpool. The right, it's not a political party, it is a movement. I feel this is a revolution, and we're all part of this. And the people of this city need to get on board, because we've had enough of this now. We've been lied to, we've been demoralised for years. They just carry on giving more lies to us. So I do believe it is a revolution. Someone was talking before about a song. You know, we've got a great band from this city, the Beatles. What's wrong with revolution? That's exactly what it is. There was a lady in the other week, and she was so empowered, and she was talking about unity in our communities, and it was like, it just sounded like me now. Or the older auntie wasn't me now. And it just made me think of an old joke by Jackie Hamilton, and it was, what's the difference between a terrorist and a Liverpool one? You can negotiate with a terrorist. No one was giving that lady shit. No one's giving us shit anyway. Because we're all going to be together in this, and we're all going to support each other. I've been on board with this now for a couple of months, and I've been following it and watching it, and I do believe that we're doing it for the right reasons. You know, I really do believe we're doing it for the right reasons. That's what I feel from my heart, and I'm going to be working along that lines all the way through. If I see anyone stepping over the mark and they're falling off what we're trying to achieve, I'll politely have to remind them what we're trying to do here. Because we're all in it together, and we need to go into our communities now. This city now, it's one of the great cities of the world. But at the moment, it doesn't feel like you go into like the smaller communities in the north of Liverpool, the shitholes. And I don't want to say that about my own home, but it's the way that our leaders have left them. And they paint over the cracks, they'll put a little pot plant somewhere or a little tree somewhere, and it's like, yeah, here it goes, like a sticking plaster. As I say, we've just got to be together. We've got to go into our communities, and we've got to win this job. This is our final chance of changing this corruption, this greed. And if any city can do it, why can't it be this fucking city?
I have to get a step ladder to give him a snog. I echo everything Barry said. Barry is actually running as a candidate. He didn't say that, but he is. And he's going to be a remarkable candidate because he absolutely wants to make change, like every single candidate in here. We'll obviously have training as well, because the only person as it stands who knows what it means to be a candidate is Councillor Dave Cummings, who is a councillor at the minute. But he obviously has come on board our Liberate Liverpool umbrella, and he will be advising, we'll be having workshops, we'll be just making sure you're never going to be alone. You're not put out there on your own. We're at the other end of the phone. One of us will be there if you've got any questions whatsoever. If any of you are actually thinking about it and you're thinking, I don't think I've got time, or for whatever reason, please come over, ask. I didn't think particularly, I thought maybe I haven't got the time, but it's man-managed. It's quality timing that you need to do. And most councillors, they work full-time or part-time. So please come and see me afterwards. I've got some applications. I know I've got a couple of interviews after the meeting. So please don't be shy. Come over, get those applications filled in, and we'll get you into the ward and we will make a difference. I'm going to pass you over to the person, if we didn't have, this wouldn't happen. He doesn't like it. He doesn't take praise very well at all. In fact, he's cowering in the background. So can everybody say hello to Lawrence?
Well, I'm really, really impressed with how many people are here tonight. Out of the 4 meetings we've had so far, this is by far and away the best. I think we got our youngest follower there. A little bit younger than Ellie Byrne. So on the insiders, you know about that one. Not much difference. For me, tonight's about explaining to the people who haven't been here before just what's transpired over the last 13 years of governance with our Labour Party. The Labour Party that we all grew up to vote for naturally. It was never in question as to whether we voted for them or not. And I'm saying now that is a fact that we shouldn't. So I'm going to start off with just going over, reiterating what I've said in the past, which was about what their transgressions are, how that came to fruition for us, the strange timing of where we are now as a movement coming into a period called PERDA, which is a period of time where hopefully the echo won't speak too badly of us, and we will be able to then speak about the transgressions, as I spoke about before, of the Labour Party. I'm hoping that all of the other parties come together. I'm hoping that we all rally together as one. We have certainly spoken to many other factions within the political arena in Liverpool. We have Steve Bradford here tonight, who... How many years have you been a councillor for?
I think it's about 42, but maybe 43.
So 42 years of experience, and he has given us those 42 years experience. He's given that to us. He's helping us all the way through. Can you please give him a round of applause? There are other groups of independents that are out there. Those other groups hopefully will align to us very soon. Let's go on to Liverpool Council. You all need to go online and pick up the Max Cole report. The Max Corley report is evidence of absolute fraud and corruption, which is evidenced there in 65 anomalies where the council have acted improperly and didn't follow the Nolan principles. And by not following the Nolan principles, they have not got best value for the people that voted them into power. Now, if you want me to go into more detail than that, I'm more than happy to go into detail. I know it back to front. But basically, they have been given the power to give away assets and have done, in my view, to friendships, not for the benefit of the people who voted them into power. That's my view. I'm happy to take any questions on that, but the Labour Party were a part of the Max Corley report from when it was first created. In fact, they went to the House of Parliament and stated, thank you, Conservative Party, for allowing us to be abreast of this investigation from day dot. The problem is, for the last 18 months, Cunningham, who's in charge of the investigation, has not been allowed to go further back. In fact, he's now looking forward. And what worries me is the transgressions of the past will be repeated because it's not there in absolute evidence. It is to me, because I've had the time to read the Max Corley report many times. I also know the individuals. I also know the councillors. So I've got traction in reading that booklet. It's large, it's heavy, it's tough to get through. So you're just going to have to accept my word that the Labour Party and the Conservatives were abreast of the Max Corley report from its inauguration and delivered it to the people, and yet the Echo hardly spoke of those transgressions.
Does any paper ever talk about these transgressions anywhere? So therefore, is no different? They're just as rotten as the rest.
I think what you find now is that the press will pick sides. It would be hard to see the Guardian speaking badly of Keir Starmer. Again, speaking from my view, the Echo gaining 1.4 million a year from the council. Their editor, chief editor at the time, receiving a salary of between 140 and 170,000 pounds a year for a couple of days a week in an arena, Echo Arena, that he has no knowledge of as he is a editor. So I think those friendships carry on, whether it be business friendships or whether it be editor friendships. I think the people of the city have never got to find out the truth. And if you think about the Echo, they are the only newspaper and actually should be known as the litmus of truth for the city. And yet they're not. Which is why we wanted to wait until Purdah kicks in. Because that is the main utensil in their war box against anyone that dare go up against them. And we are going to go up against them. We are going to have enough councillors to attack them in the north where it will really hurt them. Isn't it strange that the Conservatives have been in power for roughly 13 years, the same time roughly as the Labour Party have been in power in Liverpool? There's hardly any difference between the two. The corruption in the Conservative government is extreme. It is there to see. Newspapers don't really talk about it that often. In the same way, or the same ilk as what the Echo have been with our local council. So that absolute power corrupts absolutely is evident throughout the country. Yeah. Okay. But I'm saying Liverpool is a damn sight worse than any other council and is proven to be factually worse. It's the largest city to ever come under these actions by Whitehall. It's not, I know it's the Conservatives, but it's actually Whitehall that have come in. So they have come in to take over. Absolutely. I do think that there are issues when Scousers are portrayed, but let's not go into that.
Could I add to what you're talking about? Is it okay to come over and just say a couple of things?
Yeah, come.
I shouldn't have to introduce myself again because I'm usually up to talking anyway. Can you hear me, everybody? I'm Councillor David Cummings. I represent Waversham Ward, and I was a Labour councillor, and I resigned from the Labour Party. And guess what? They said they got rid of me. What does that say? So I just want to talk about some things what Lawrence has talked about with regard to committees and Labour councillors on committees. What they do, they vote for their mates. They don't vote for people on merit. It's, you're with us, mate, and we're getting you in. That's what goes on. I can say I have seen that because I was a member of the Labour Party in the Labour group as a Labour councillor. I've seen that for the last 7 years. I've been asked, would I go on the planning committee, which I was on the planning committee, and you're going to get £500 each month in your back pocket, mate? That's what I was told, that's what I was offered, and I said no. So, you've got to ask yourself, what the way I've been looked at to be looked like a monster is quite deliberate, because when you're decent, like all of you here, and you ask questions, you get kicked out. That's all I want to say. That's it.
Thanks, Steve. Cameron. You okay? So tonight is a fact-finding mission for the new people that haven't been here before. So we will do a bit of a Q&A. But really what it's about is trying to ensure that we have enough would-be councillors to go up against a fraudulent, corrupt Labour Party. And at some point, we have to stand up and be counted. We have to come out and say, you know, like, I can't be bothered, you know, I want to sit on the couch. I get all that. I'm here because I believe there's a great injustice, and I think if we don't stand up now, in May, after that time, whoever gets voted into power is there for 4 long years. So the same fraud and corruption and the same cabal that sat beneath Joe, because Joe didn't do this on his own. Joe Anderson could not sign off. He needed council officers and councillors on committees to sign off. And in the same vein as what Dave said before about friendships, those people were there on friendships. They weren't there on merit. It was an autocracy. The autocracy ensured that the people that needed to vote for what Joe wanted were there in place. And those people that were in place just done Joe's bidding. Those people are still there. Those people are, well, that depends, doesn't it? So that depends on how angry we get in this room, because it isn't this room, 200, 300 people. It is the connections to this room of the 200, 300 people that we push out that message resonates, that friend to friend, peer to peer, socially online, pushing out messages saying, you know, this is fraudulent and corrupt and need to stop. We will not allow the Labour Party to get into power for a further 4 years. Because I guarantee 4 more years, 2 years in, we'll be back to normal. Sorry, would you like to speak? Yeah, do you want to? I can't stretch the mic.
Thanks, Lawrence, and I'm your guest tonight, and I hope I don't overstay any comments. But my worry is, it won't be 4 years, it'll be after June. The commissioners leave in June. The commissioners have made it clear they want to get out in June. We can all draw our own conclusions what that will be. Lawrence is perfectly right. The abuse of power, got to be fairly careful what legal word we use, the abuse of power. The abuse of power goes way back. And I appeared in Mull Crown Court against, during the militant era, land was being sold to people who were alleged drug dealers for money laundering at half the price, back in even at Mull Crown Court. And actually the police company so was the only witness that hadn't been got at or tempered at the time. On behalf of my Liberal Party team, can I make it quite clear, we are the historic Liberals, we're not the Lib Dems. We have offered some support for independent-minded candidates, including advice on campaigning, legal procedures, nominations, and if there's any help with the training, we'll try and give as much as we can. But that's not just about the election. It's actually about what happens after the election. Because my group and I've had chiefs actually try to frame me on more than one occasion for standing up against the squalor and the way the Booter State was left to absolute corrupt squalor by a Lib Dem council that knew what it was doing to the people there and were downing in their area. So I know the stunts they will try. I've had to fight all my life with it. And what experience I can and will share, I will. I know many of you will come from different traditions. Many of you will maybe not share all my views. It doesn't matter. It's about respecting people's differences and giving them support. So thank you for having me here today.
Thank you. So I think I've gone on long enough about fraud and corruption. I don't think we need to go on about that any further. There's enough evidence if you wish to seek it out online. It's the Max Cole report. It's quite easy to pick up and download. It's not hard to read, but it is long and it's a bit boring. It goes on forever. So tonight's about the fire in the belly to ensure that you wish to stand up for your community in order for you to right the wrongs of the past and to ensure that those wrongs don't reappear again. So I'm hoping from tonight, you don't just think about standing yourself. I hope you reach out to people who you believe are able and capable of running for those posts, because we haven't got long. Purdah is a 6-week period, and it is a smash and grab. We need to hit hard, get over the message of not just fraud and corruption, but also about how we believe we can put those wrongs right. How we believe we can reach into the communities, how we believe we can reinvest in those communities, how we believe we can raise the money from what was gifted away to friendships, but actually should stay within the council in order for us to reap the benefits of the profits from those sites. That's what we're here to do. It isn't just about shouting down a corrupt Labour Party. It's about putting right those wrongs and ensuring that we're going forward in the right path, making sure that our children have jobs to go to, making sure that our communities have investment, which they haven't had for 13 years. So this is something that you need to take home with you, think about the friendships that you have that you can draw upon. It's really important, because at this moment in time, I'm not going to tell you the figure, but we have multiple councillors now running. And I would say we are as slightly larger now than the Lib Dems as the second party. If Labour Party get caught with their hands in the till again tomorrow, and 10 of them go and get charged and arrested, the Labour Party still will gain power, because they're the only ones who reportedly are stating that they've got 85 individual councillors running for their posts.
These people are so complicit and take people's loyalty in this city for granted.
Sure.
That's why they put their hands in the till, because they know
They get away
nothing
with
will come of it. They're safe.
Yeah. So there's a distinct difference now, I think, and it's strange timing. For the first time, the right of the parties took over. Sheila Murphy now picks out who is going to represent those communities, ostracising the people that should be there voting into the position of running for that council position. Sheila Murphy now runs the Labour Party from the right. That means she's now ostracised the left. So if you look, as I do, avidly at comments in the Echo and also online, social online, Liam Robinson did a video 4 weeks ago. He had 6,000 views when I looked last. There were 300 comments. Every single one was negative. I've never known that before, because normally the left of the party, who are most vocal, they're the ones who normally come to defend. And normally I would say, for every good comment, there's a bad comment. That's totally changed. I think the landscape has changed. The political landscape in this city has changed. The left have left the party in general. The right have took over. But I think the noisy part of the Labour Party has left. That's just my view, by the way, based on what I see. So I don't see Labour Party they couldn't fill a room like this. There's no chance on this earth that Labour Party could fill a room like this. They had their manifesto launch the other day. I think there was 20 people in the room. That's their biggest launch, 20 people in the room. So what I'm saying is, I think the landscape has changed. I don't think the same gratitude that was gifted through birth to Labour Party is still there today.
Until there's an alternative on a maximum scale and all sending out one singular message, they're not going to listen, because they've heard a lot of
That's the idea for tonight. This city and its people are in an abusive relationship with the very people who are there to look after them. And it has been the same way for a long time. All you good people in here can influence 2, 3 other people to either become candidates or move on and support this movement. This is what it's about. It's not about lying down. It's about standing up to fight. How many people in the room tonight? 300. Not 300 Spartans, 300 Liverpoolians fighting for Liverpool. This is our time. You have the place your lives and the lives of your children in their hands, and they drop them. It's time to stop. Stand and fight, or go down. And it's up to all of you, no matter what your capabilities are, no matter where you are on the political spectrum. It's time for change. It's time for you to draw the line and come out and say no. The most powerful word in any language, and we are a multicultural society here, is no. No matter how you say it, in whatever language your origin is from, start saying no and start asking other people to say no.
Don't you just love that? Hey.
We've got multi-talented people. This is our city. This is what we specialise in. We specialise in creative people, intelligent people. So if you do have skills that can help, bring them to the fore. Everything will be appreciated. All the weapons that you bring in, we will take.
So let me just answer as well. Let me just answer as well.
Can I say something? With the greatest respect, Kev, and I wouldn't diss you in any way, you weren't at other meetings, but what our friend here on the mic has actually highlighted is the fact, well, you are a friend, we're all friends.
Of course we are.
Right, Lawrence has highlighted is that the rest of them are lost when it comes to social media compared to what can be done. Lawrence has actually said, we are in a position to motivate people through social media, and that's where we'll win. That's where the battleground will be won, especially with the younger people. And Lawrence has actually highlighted that in a previous meeting.
Yeah, I have done, thank you. I have done on multiple occasions. So we had choices at the start. The first one was, did we want to come out guns raging 3 or 4 months ago when the message gets dim when you come to the vote? And the answer is no, we didn't. So we decided on a smash and grab policy. Let's get through up to Perda. Once we get into Perda, in mostly the Echo, the major tool of Labour Party, will be put to one side. We've then got our people who can then spread messages on social media. I understand social media. I've created many companies on that. Sean Weaver's in the room is a genius at social media. There's plenty of other people, by the way, who are very good on social media. Putting out the message on a peer-to-peer way is exactly what we're going to do. So the algorithm will open up like a flower. It will be a lot easier for us to do it when they don't even understand that garden exists. The next 6 weeks is about sharing that content and making sure that it reaches the 4 corners. And so everyone in the city will know and understand that this Labour Party and the people that are still there today have been a part of, knew of, or turned a blind eye to corruption. As I keep on saying all the way through, from the 22nd on, that's when battle lines are drawn for us. It was always part of our policy to wait till the 22nd. We've actually, for those of you who've been coming from the start, and I know you're one of them, we sort of went into a lull the last couple of weeks on purpose so we can get to the 22nd. And hopefully we're unscathed so far, and then we can go into battle. Content is king. We aim to create a plethora of blogs, content writing. We want to control search term, but that's another angle altogether again. So there's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's content writing, there's Google. There's a lot of different angles in order to dominate search. And it all comes in many ways. I understand that. It's what I do. So creating content and dominating a specific search term is what I understand. And so do many other people in the room, by the way. Unless we get more councillors, would-be councillors, we won't be in that joyful position of being able to pick and choose whether certain officers should stay or whether those practices will continue. Because there is a thought of, if we are lucky enough or forthright enough in order to take control with the Liberals, with whoever else wants to jump along with us, my view is we need to understand what's gone on in the past. We need to go right through the past. We need to understand in a forensic way what has gone on, which will cost money, by the way, to do so. But unless we go through the past, we're not going to learn the lessons of the past.
I think also we need to hold the past people accountable, which nobody has been held accountable. The commissioners, there's 5 commissioners in our city at the minute that are absolutely, they are costing a fortune. I won't even tell you how much they're costing. You could live off it for probably 20 years.
But let's hope they stop corruption.
Exactly.
Ish.
Well, what their rhetoric, what they say is, oh, it's a lesson learned. No, we don't want bloody lesson learned. We want them held to account. We want the people who've been stealing off us, the people who've had their hand in the till for years and years and years and years, from the very top, by the way, the very, very top of this triangle. It's the people, they've worked on the premise of bullying. They've bullied people. These poor people are kind of nodding dogs, if you like. Well, I've got no respect for nodding dogs, to be honest. You've got to stick with it. We cannot be two-faced. We are here to start a revolution. We are here to stop this corruption, not to say, oh, we'll be tempted by it. We want, that 80% of this city don't vote. They don't vote because they think they've got no chance. They haven't got any information. They've got no truth coming through their letterbox. They're about to get the truth with our campaigns. That's the first time they'll have seen it. They'll be going, what? Figures of people don't give a shit about BICO or the Calla report. The general populace don't understand what that means. All they know is, can I pay my bills? Can I feed my kids? Will Liverpool City Council pay the electric bill? And I don't have to pay for that. Simple things. So people want to know. They don't care about the bigger companies. They care about their own family, their own community. And that's why we're a people's movement, because every single candidate will be living in that area. And they'll be working for that community. So that's how powerful we are. And the gentleman who was saying over here, I think it was Kevin, and quite rightly, Kevin, because it's your first time here, perhaps you don't realise how broad this is. We haven't started campaigning yet. We haven't done anything. And as Lauren said, it's been a tactic, if you like. We've let them think, do you know what? Because they're asking everyone, God, they're very quiet. What are they doing? Da, da, da. They won't know, and I keep saying this, they literally won't know what's hit them. Because marketing for those 80% of the people who don't vote, in any given marketing campaign, if you get a 3% response, if we get a 3% response to make people vote on the truth that's going in their letterbox, we've won. We've won.
Thank you. Any other questions? If we are to gain power, if we are to have enough councillors to take control, all depends on this room and all depends on the message that spreads from this room. Now, if we do, just give me a sec. If we do, we go into the communities. I'm a kid who got brought up within the youth centres. I learned to play ping pong in the youth centres. It's still with me today. It got me off the streets. Those youth centres, years later, pretty much have been decimated. Those youth centres need to be our communities again. We need to bring that back again. And I think that's where the councillors should resonate from. I think that's where money should start and finish. I think they become our community centres again. And therefore then, guys. If we're allowed to do that, if we can raise the money through not giving away our assets to ensure that we keep hold of the profits and we can then push that profit out to what will probably be about 25 wards. I'm talking the old system now, not the new one. I've lost touch of the new one. But the new system, the old system, not every single ward needs funding, but certainly 25 of them probably do. So on that basis, we bring back those youth centres and we create those youth centres into job centres as well for our youth. So if we've got a Walton youth centre, we would go to Home and Bargain and say, this is now your social responsibility. We stick Home and Bargain above Walton Youth Centre. They're now dialed into their social responsibility, and the kids in that youth centre are no longer looking at the kid in the BMW at 20 years of age who gets his money quite freely. He's looking at the MD, he's looking at a Spark, he's looking at a Joiner, and that conduit, that natural conduit from Home and Bargain, their job is to ensure that there's a conduit out of the street into their workforce. That's what we need to do in multiple places. We're only about 3 months old. We decided not to go full guns blazing from the very start. We decided to get our base. We have our base. We now have 1,000 members. So we've done quite well in a very short time. We now want to get past this period of the 22nd, which it's upon us now. And then, as I said before, we then start hitting every single corner of the city through social media, which is the only tool that we have, social media and leaflets. And then we're going to go and deliver leaflets ourselves. And then we're going to be doing social media. And the social media, I think, will be more prolific than the leaflets, but that's just my view. So we can't do any more than that.
With respect, all of you are the voice of Liberate Liverpool. All of you, as I said before, can exponentially influence people, speak to people, and carry the message. Modern technology is great for those who've got access, great for those that are not marginalised by poverty. However, you are the carriers of the message. This is a virus. This is the way
Lawrence, can we talk about the march?
Say again.
The march.
People were looking to march upon the town hall, give over our files on all of the transgressions of the council. We then want to go on to the Echo, ask them why they didn't report them in the same diligent way they would do with someone like me, to your point. And then we want to then go on to St. Anne's Police Station and drop off the file there and ask them, when are these arrests and charges coming?
In the area I'm in now, I'm running the area, we've had the lowest turnout in the history of elections. Not in Liverpool, but in the history of elections. The lowest turnout. And I'm not running against Labour, I'm running against 85% of people who don't turn up. And I need something small to give them all out and say, this is what I'm fighting against.
Yeah, the leaflets are designed, they're done. They're just ready to go out after the 22nd. I know it's infuriating that we've held on so long, but there is a reason as to why we've held on so long. The 22nd is important.
You talked about the leaflets before, you
Yeah.
said that you're actually getting them out as well as people doing them.
Sure.
Is it I take it it's the post office?
Yes.
And there's a large contingency in the post office that are extreme left. And they,
No, I'm sure. But extreme left...
You can't do nothing else.
No, no,
Throw them in the bin, or...
Well, that may be the case, but the extreme left have left the Labour Party as well.
Yeah, okay.
A lot.
And there's nothing you can do about that with the post.
No, there's nothing I can do.
I get that.
I was just going to say, is everyone aware of what happened in the Netherlands the last few days?
Yes.
The party that was set up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Farmers.
Yeah, amazing.
So there's the little aircraft. You can't take them on in an open battlefields. Think about the Romans in Britain. What we're doing is we're waiting for them to come through a little narrow pass. And the minute they can't take their weapons out, we come down the other side. That's what this better.
Thank you. Any other questions?
We are actually in the process of spreading the word now. People who know me know I'm a cabbie, and I tell people about the corruption that's gone on when they're in the back of a cab. But we will, what struck me with the conversation now is the fact that we need to say, look, it won't be under the auspices of a particular political banner. You'll have to look out for an independent candidate in your ward.
Yeah.
And we do need to stress, look out for who the independent candidate is.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, guys?
Also, I think the 3 venues that we're going to visit, we should ensure that either, if we're going to the Q&Rs, that the chief executive's there to receive us. Listen, if we're going to the headquarters at Rose Place, or Rose Hill as it's called, we want Serena Kennedy there to receive us. And the PCC, all of those people we pay their wages. They should be there to listen to what the people of this city have got to say about their failures.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're going to ensure they are. We're going to ensure, listen, this is our city. We pay them as administrators in our city. And if we're going to march on their buildings on a Sunday, they're going to have to be there to see it.
With regards to the austerity march, the date is yet to be confirmed. But with regards to what's been mentioned about the chief executive and the other paid employees of us, the public, should be present. That's highly unlikely. Like I say, this is somebody that's marched on a number of government buildings.
No. Absolutely. They'll be hiding in the bathroom.
That's not
But let them deny us. We can ask the question, let them deny us.
absolutely, unless the march is between Monday to Friday, yeah. But if it's the weekend, highly unlikely.
Well, the PCC comes out on a Saturday night because she's paid, doesn't she? She comes out on a Saturday night for Vogue. She comes out on a Saturday night with Liberate Liverpool. She comes out and does various things around the city at night time because she's paid as the PCC by the people of this city. All we're saying is, we don't want her to come out in the night time. We want the PCC, the Chief Constable, the Chief Executive, the Mayor who's going in.
Okay, this is the man who's going to be running against Robinson in Kensington. I've slightly embarrassed him, but there you go.
Thanks. No, I was just talking to Barry there, really, saying, for me, it's a privilege and an honour to kind of have a go at making the change.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I've been coming here for several weeks now, and I'm really encouraged to listen to what people have to say and the amount of people and skill set that's here, and determination to want to make a difference. So yeah, I'm just, you know, I want to give it my best shot. I mean, there's great people here like Dave and Councillor Steve there who can tutor me, guide me into the protocols, into, you know, the formats of being a councillor. But no, I look forward to the challenge, and I'm delighted that there's, you know, so many people here.
Any more questions before we wrap it up? Yes.
I've been very, very...
Sure, it's not your political meeting.
No. Visit every postal voter, because they're 2.5 times more likely to vote than someone going to school on the day. Your postal vote is coming out in about 3 weeks' time. Your candidate's got a chance to visit the postal voters. With 500 votes, you can defeat the Labour Party and shockwave the city.
So we're going to bring the night to a close now. First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming. But the passion view is that when you leave tonight, please sit and think about who you could ask to run for a counter position up against a corrupt Labour Party. A Labour Party that is stealing the food out of your children's mouths. That's a fact, by the way. And all you have to do is pick one person that you think is capable and able enough to come and represent your community. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.